Welcome back to TransGuyReacts. My name is Nick, and I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional. Today I'm going to talk about the WNBA games for Friday, August 23rd, and there were a lot of them. There are four, and three of them were on at the same time, which was very annoying. It's always like that. I don't know what the WNBA is doing with the scheduling, but it's pretty infuriating. So, luckily, all three games were on League Pass. I guess they were on Ion, and so they were on League Pass. And League Pass does have the multi-view, so I was able to watch all three games at the same time on the same screen with various sizes. But yeah, it was hard to watch all three, so I mainly kind of paid attention to two of them, and the third one I was like kind of paying attention to. So, um, other things to note before I get into the games was that today was Kobe Bryant's 42nd birthday. Excuse me, and there were a lot of fans in every arena wearing Kobe gear. You know, Kobe was a very big supporter of women's basketball. He was going to be this great ambassador for the league, and I was really worried that once he died, that that support was going to go away, but it hasn't. It definitely has trickled down to other people in professional leagues supporting the game. So it's fine, but it's just still sad that he's gone and his daughter's gone and all the other kids are gone. So it is what it is. But yeah, so it was his 42nd birthday today. In terms of things going on with the W, it was the Connecticut Sun did release Celeste Taylor. They released Celeste Taylor, and then Celeste Taylor was signed to a 7-day contract with the Phoenix Mercury, which is really crazy because last week she was with the Mercury. And then they traded her to Connecticut. Well, not traded her. They released her, and then the Connecticut Sun picked her up for a week, and then now she's back with the Mercury. And then she was originally with the Indiana Fever. She's a rookie, and she got drafted to the Indiana Fever, but they let her go. It's just like it is a bunch of musical chairs, and it's crazy. It's crazy because she's actually a really good player, and she produces when she's on the floor. So. It's unfortunate for her that she has to play musical chairs, but sometimes it's like that for rookies. With the Los Angeles Sparks, they released Crystal Dangerfield, but they ended up signing her the same day to a rest of the season contract, which is great because she had already had 3 7-day contracts, and they're down a few people. So Lexi Brown is out with Crohn's disease, Cameron Brink's out, and I think Ari McDonald's out. Yeah, so they needed the help. But getting into the games, the first game was the Los Angeles Sparks versus the Washington Mystics. This is the game that I had the hardest time paying attention to because there were just too many games going on. But what I could see, it was a high-scoring first quarter. It was very, very close. It was 21 to 22 points. Alana Beard was in the house. She is a former WNBA player, and she came out when Diana Taurasi came out in the league. They were in the same draft. Fantastic player from Duke, and she was fantastic. So it was really nice. They interviewed her. They did a little tribute to her during the halftime, and they put her name in the rafters for the Washington Mystics. So that was great. In the second quarter, Van Loo got a technical for yelling at refs because they missed a foul, which I thought was pretty funny because, I mean, Julie Van Loo gets hyped up, but she usually doesn't get technical, so that was interesting. But that quarter was super tight as well. It was 41 to 38 at the halftime. You go into the third quarter, it's another tight quarter, and it's kind of like a chess match, to be honest. And the end of that quarter is 55 to 54. It could be anyone's game at this point. But in the fourth quarter, the Mystics start to make some runs, and they get up to 10 points halfway through the quarter. There was at one point that Ray Burrell goes for a loose ball, and she trips over a cameraman, lands on a fan, and hits her knee like on some chairs, but she stays in the game. Girl is tough. Tough. The Mystics were able to maintain that lead, though, and they go on to win the game with 74 to 80. Now, let's talk about this Phoenix Mercury against Atlanta Dream game. Woo. In the beginning of the game, Jordan Canada, she fell and got kneed in the head by Kalia Copper. Or no, was that Kalia Copper? No, she fell and she got kneed in the head. Then Kalia, was that by Kalia Copper? That might have been by Kalia Copper, accidentally kneed her in the head. Then Natasha Cloud slipped, and Naz Hillman fell on top of her and slammed her face into the ground. Oh my God, it was like very dramatic beginning of the game. But the first quarter, otherwise, besides that, was pretty steady. The Mercury started to take the lead towards the end of the quarter, and it's 24 to 17 at the end of the first. In the second quarter, Diana Taurasi does this crazy spin, this like turn no look pass to Celeste Taylor up the court for the layup, and she gets the layup and she gets fouled. And then LaChina Robinson, she's like commentating for the game. She's like, she makes a joke about DT getting the ball lost in her shorts because DT's shorts are so long. She literally DT does not wear any booty shorts. She makes sure that she gets the long shorts made for her every season. I'm assuming she gets them particularly made because everyone's shorts are much shorter, and she's literally the only player I feel in the league that has their shorts that length. But anyway, DT has said in like some social media, like she doesn't have a social media really, but she said something. She said she's with the OGs, not the IGs. So Diana Taurasi is a goat. Anyway, the Mercury are able to extend that lead to 10 points, but the Dream are fighting. Alicia Gray picks up some BS third foul after not getting called for a foul that she wanted. Man, these refs were so annoying in this game, but what can you do? I talk about this all the time. The refs ain't reffing. During the third quarter, Cloud picks up her fourth foul and is having a little bit of trouble. She's kind of having a rough night so far. DT still hitting threes from the catch and shoot. She's so nice and smooth. But then the Dreams do start playing some great defense, leading to some offense. So the score is 65-59. So it's a little contentious, but it's a little bit closer of a game. Fourth quarter, this is a tough quarter. Diana Taurasi pushes Gray. They give her the foul, and then they review it. But to me, it doesn't look that serious enough for a review, but they review it. DT is pissed that she got called for that foul to begin with. They go look at it. They upgrade it to a flagrant one because they say that it's unnecessary contact and that she pushed her towards the bench, which is dangerous. But here's the thing. When Diana gets a technical, that usually gets her fired up, and then she usually starts playing better. And she does. Like, literally, she starts hitting big shots after that. But the Dream do respond well to it, but yeah, that turned her fire on. But it's a tight 30 seconds left in the game, and it's like a 3-point game between going to the Merc with the upside. Sophie Cunningham fouls Ryan Howard with 13 seconds left, and Ryan makes both points, so it's a 1-point game. The Dream fouls, but they have a foul to give, and then Copper gets the backdoor pass and goes for the layup. Crazy. Then Monique Billings ends up fouling Tina Charros on the other side of the court, but it's only a 2-point shot. So there's only it's like 0.6 seconds left in the clock. So Tina does make both of those shots, but it's just not enough time. The game ends 82-80. Woo! This game was so fun. It was wild. It was a wild game. It was really fun. If you're going to rewatch a game, I would definitely pick that one. And this one. This other game was really great. So Chicago versus Connecticut. Chicago Sky versus Connecticut Sun. This is Marina Mabry's first game against her former team, Chicago Sky. Excuse me. Kennedy Carter. If you can hear the loud people in the back, I'm in Guatemala and people be partying here. They love a good party. So if you hear people yelling in the background, they're having a good time. So anyway, this is Marina Mabry's first game against her former teammate. Kennedy Carter ends up fouling Marina Mabry really hard by essentially she goes for the ball and she slaps down so hard against Mabry's face. They go to review it. Carter gets a flagrant one because it was incredibly unnecessary. Also want to note that this was the first game for Rachel Banham as well. She was the first time she's playing against her former teammate, from her team, Connecticut. So, interesting. Very tight first quarter, 17-17. It's tied. You go into the second quarter, Marina Mabry started raining threes. She is raining in the threes. And Carter is going hard. Going hard for the Sky, and again, it's a really tight quarter, but the Suns start to build a lead. It's 35-45 at the halftime. In the third quarter, there's 9 seconds in the quarter. Carter goes at it with DiJonai. 9 seconds into the third quarter. Carter's going at it with DiJonai, pushes her to the ground, and she gets called for a foul, then goes off as she's, going off at the refs, right? As she's walking away, the refs go to review it. Then you have Teresa Witherspoon and Ty Young trying to talk to Kennedy, trying to calm her down. And they do look at it, they say it's a common foul, and then DiJonai seems very unbothered. It was kind of funny the way she was looking. The Sky... we're keeping the score competitive and ties it at the halfway point through the quarter. Mabry picks up her fourth foul. Reese was going at it with Thomas and gets the layup and gives her the too small gesture, which is hilarious. These rookies are so bold. Carrington picks up her third foul, and then Carter gets a third foul. It's just like back and forth. It's so spicy. It's a spicy game. The refs are really quick to blow their whistle in this game. At the end of the third, it was 64-63. It was tight. So you go into the fourth quarter. Carter picks up her fourth foul against DeWanna Bonner with 6 minutes left to go, but the Sky are maintaining a lead. Then Thomas makes a couple of runs, and then there's a point where Thomas drives down the court, hits a layup, and then gives a too small gesture back to them. Oh my God. It was just so dramatic. It was fantastic. And then it's back to a 1-point game with the Sky up. Carter gets blocked and falls going for a layup, and she fell kind of awkwardly, and then the refs go, to review it. Carter kind of limps off the floor. The review shows that Carter is on the ground, and then Thomas kind of like pushes Reese on the ground, and she kind of Reese falls on top of Carter, but it's a common foul. They call it a common foul. Then Carrington blocks Carter, and they call it a blocking foul on Carrington, but it looks like her feet are set, so they do review it. Sun do review it, or challenge it rather. And this is 42 seconds left, mind you. They do challenge it. It's a successful challenge. The call is overturned, and Carter gets her fifth foul. Wow. They cut to Carrington, and Carrington is sitting on the bench looking, again, unbothered. Her legs are crossed. She's just like, I love her attitude. It's so great. DeWanna Bonner takes contact from Lindsay Allen, going to the rim and gets the foul. Should be 2 shots, but Witherspoon wants to challenge it. It's an unsuccessful challenge. And then DeWanna Bonner goes and makes 1 of 2 of the shots. It's tied 80 points, 33 seconds left. This is stressful. This is a stressful end. Allen goes, misses a jumper. Bonner gets rebound, 13 seconds left. Then on the other side, Thomas gets fouled by Kennedy Carter. It's her 6th foul. She's out of the game. And I can't lie. This girl, she was playing super hard. I can't fault her for how hard she was playing, but woo, it was crazy. There's 4 seconds left at this point. Then Thomas, gets her free throw. She makes both of them. Sky do a reset timeout. They inbound the ball. Marina Mabry gets her hand on the inbound and cuts some time off. They go to re-inbound the ball again. DiJonai Carrington gets her hand on the inbound. Game's over. 80-82. Woo! That was like a crazy wild game. I had a good time. I had a really good time watching that game. And then the last game of the evening was Las Vegas Aces versus Minnesota Lynx. It was a strong start for the Aces, but the Lynx came roaring back. At one point, Kate Martin came into the game, and the crowd was super loud because there's a huge Iowa contingent there because Minnesota is not that far from a drive from Iowa. But at the end of the first quarter, it was 18-18. It was tied. Simone Augustus was at the game. She gets interviewed. I love seeing GOATs at the game. She's a new Hall of Famer. She's also the assistant coach for the LSU, so that was great to see her. In the second quarter, Megan Gustafson gets in the game for the Aces. She also gets applause from the Iowa crowd because she also went to Iowa. It's a really competitive second quarter, but the Lynx maintain a lead. But Megan Gustafson does hit a couple of big threes, so she was, a little crowd favorite right then. But the Aces are up a little bit, 3 minutes left. Plum gets called for an offensive foul. They go to review. She gets a technical. But it was kind of weird because Heidemann did get called for the original foul, but Plum gets called for the technical for the way that she kind of hit her in the face, sort of. So they both get to shoot free throws. Weird. It's a tight quarter. It ends 39-40. In the third quarter, freaking Alana Smith was just working her ass off, and she was getting banged up left and right. It was a very physical game. The refs were calling a lot, mostly against the Aces. The Lynx were up most of that quarter. Plum and Hayes pick up their third foul. And I have to say, the plays on both sides were a little bit sloppy in the third quarter. Lynx go on a serious run and are frankly just kind of playing harder, and the Aces look a little tired. Sydney Colson comes into the game with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, which I'm like, it's a little too late for that, in a way. And then Asia Wilson does all that she can do with what she's got. She does Asia Wilson things. At the end of the third, it's 54-65. Then we go into the fourth quarter. The Aces are playing a lot better, making shots. Plum's making errors, and she got her fifth foul, and she is pissed about it. Then Courtney Williams goes after a ball. She falls real hard. She does this. She looks like she's in pain. They take her to the back of the arena, to the locker room. The replay shows that her knee kind of just buckles under her. It was no contact, so hopefully she's all right. The Lynx maintain that lead, and Courtney does come back a little bit later to sit on the bench, but she doesn't play. And then at 45 seconds left in the game, 46 seconds left, the Lynx decide to just bounce out the ball. They bounce out the ball. The possession goes back to the Aces. The Aces do the same. They bounce back the ball, and then I think there's like 1 second left, and they give it back to the Lynx to inbound. Game's over, 74-87. It was a wild fucking night of basketball, that's for sure. I didn't go over any stats. I would like to do that real quick. So Los Angeles Sparks versus the Minnesota Lynx. I'll just talk about the heavy hitters here. So Washington Mystics. Let's talk about Los Angeles Sparks. Rickea Jackson had 17 points. This rookie is just playing out of her fucking mind. Dearica Hamby had 9 points, 10 rebounds, almost a double-double. Zaya Cook had 9 points. She finally got some fucking time on the court. She had 7 points, excuse me. Odyssey Sims had 9 points. Ray Burrell had 8 points. But for the Mystics, Brittany Sykes had 28 points. Shakira Austin had 14 points, 11 rebounds for a double-double. Ariel Atkins had 15 points, and Emily Inkster had 9 points, so they were playing pretty well. For the Phoenix versus the Atlanta Dream, Ryan Howard had 16 points. Tina Charles had 14 points, 13 rebounds for a double-double. The GOAT is still goating. Alicia Gray had 22 points. Jordan Canada had 13 points, 6 assists. Maya Caldwell had 7 points. For the Phoenix Mercury, Kalia Copper had 16 points. Brittany Griner had 22 points. Diana Taurasi had 18 points. She is still the GOAT. She's still putting up these kind of numbers, and she is like 42. It is fucking crazy. And Celeste Taylor had 9 points. I can't believe she is not signed to the rest of the season contract. She is too good to be out here like that. The Chicago Sky versus Connecticut Sun. Angel Reese had 13 points, 20 rebounds. This girl is a double-double machine. She is the most consistent rookie I have seen the entire year. You could talk about Clark and how she's putting up numbers, but the consistency from Angel Reese is just amazing. She also had 2 blocks. Camila Cardoso had 18 points. She was playing out of her mind. Kenny Carter had 19 points. Lindsay Allen had 14 points. Rachel Banham had 9 points. It was just a really good game for them. But the Connecticut Sun were balling, of course, and DeWanna Bonner had 15 points, 8 rebounds. Alyssa Thomas had 12 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. She almost had a triple-double. Girl needed 1 more fucking rebound, and she would have had a triple-double. Crazy. 4 steals, 1 block. Brianna Jones had 12 points. DiJonai had 7. Taisha Harris had 6. Marina Mabry had 24 points. Girl was going off. And then the last game here, like I said, was Las Vegas Aces versus Minnesota Lynx. And for the Aces, Jackie Young had 12 points, 3 steals, 1 block. Asia Wilson had 24 points. Kelsey Plum had 11. Tiffany Hayes had 12. And then on the Lynx side, Nafisa Collier had a fucking crazy night. She had 27 points, 18 rebounds, 2 steals. Alana Smith had 15.7 rebounds. Kayla McBride had 12 points. Courtney Williams had 13 points. Natisha Hardiman had 12 points. It was just a very more well-rounded approach from the Minnesota Lynx. But yeah, that was the game. That's the recaps for today. A lot of games going on. But of course, if you like this kind of content, as I say, please like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things that you do on social media. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.